when black myth players visit Shisi Temple.
This door is open. There must be an ambush.
The explosive popularity of Black Myth Wukong undoubtedly ignited interest in many of our country's ancient buildings. After all, many key scenes in the game are based on real locations. And when it comes to the most thoroughly utilized, the most fully repurposed, Shisi Temple undoubtedly takes the crown. This small temple hidden in the mountains, almost every structure, every scene, has been faithfully recreated in Black Myth's Chapter 4, the map of Pansi. You could call it a pilgrimage site for Black Myth fans, an absolute must-visit spot. The reason it appears so frequently is because Shisi Temple has one of the 5th batch of National Key Cultural Relic Protection Units. Whether its research value or architectural style is truly one of a kind and full of ancient charm. Here, you can satisfy all your imaginings about ancient architecture. So, dear viewers, long time no see. This is Norman Ding. In this episode's solo trip, please join me as we step into this ancient mountain temple. Come along with me as we enter this temple deep in the mountains. Let's explore what historical treasures it holds. But since it's an ancient temple in the deep mountains, while not exactly Zhejiang hardships, a long journey is still necessary. So, as a travel guide show, let's start with how to get to Shisi Temple. Shisi Temple is located in Yongzheng Scenic area, Daja Village, Autonomous County, Lishui City, Zhejiang Province. Just from this phrase, just from this one sentence, with 2 uncommon characters in the Diming place names, you can probably tell its location is a bit remote. Besides, self-driving or group tours, the main public transport route requires taking a high-speed train to Lishui first, then take a bus from Lishui to Jining County. After that, transfer to another bus in Jining heading to Zhejiang. The whole journey takes almost 3 hours. It is a long road. There are many bus schedules from Lishui to Jining, but only 4 buses per Dalton Y from Jining to Zhejiang. So, you need to plan your time in advance. Fortunately, both buses can be booked early on WeChat mini program, which is pretty convenient. Besides, Shisi Temple Lishui has many other fun places to visit, like Yangjietang. Chenjiapu are also totally worth a trip. And accommodation in Lishui is super cheap. I actually stayed at a fancy hotel in Lishui for once. Their breakfast bread was really good. Talking about this, before you set off, I suggest bringing some snacks if you can. Trust me, you'll need them later. The road from Lishui to Shisi Temple is quite an exhausting experience. At first, when the bus is on the main road, it is okay. But after Jining, you switch to a van going uphill. The mountain road is rugged and narrow. It tests both the driver's skills and the passenger's nerves. It is no small challenge. Especially since this is a 2-way road on a single-lane mountain. On some sections, I always felt like with our van's figure similar to mine, which can hardly be called slim. If we get head-to-head with another car, then probably at least one group of passengers would have to back down halfway up the mountain and experience a game of Russian roulette with fate. It is really intense and thrilling. And the space inside is extremely cramped. Plus, there is a high chance you'll meet all sorts of quirky people. Why? Just think about it. A place like Shisi Temple. Besides locals who live there, who'd willingly suffer taking a bus all the way there. What kind of normal person would do that? Well, take me for example. There was this guy on the bus. He actually carried a bicycle and squeezed onto the van. Everyone asked him what he was going to do. He said he would set off from Shisi Temple early tomorrow morning, riding down the mountain through the thin forest mist. Then came the next morning. I don't know how he planned it after that. Well, hope it went smoothly for him. Anyway, after a long journey, I finally made it to Da. Since the distance is quite far and there are limited bus schedules, it is better to stay overnight in Zhejiang and take the first bus down the mountain the next day. Wanting to do a round trip in one day is not impossible, but it is really pushing it. And honestly, you've gone through all this effort to get here. Might as well enjoy it to the fullest before heading down. Like this time, I was pretty lucky. Caught the mountain rain early the next morning. Just managed to snap some shots of Shisi Temple in the rain. And it had that perfect vibe, you know. Accommodations in Da are mostly guest houses, and meals are mainly local farm stays. Once you are up in the mountains, when it comes to food, Don't set your expectations too high. I had 2 meals there, and they were both pretty basic. Especially as a rough northerner who hasn't seen much, I gotta warn my fellow northerners. Be careful with those local grilled small fish on the mountain. Oh man, it is not about eating fish and picking bones. It is like finding fish in a pile of bones. Almost got me stuck halfway to Norman Peak Temple, and choked to death midway. That is why I say, better bring some snacks before you come. They'll come in handy. Alright, after all the hardships, finally made it to the foot of my dream, long-awaited Shisi Temple. For those who play Black Myth, does this bridge arch look familiar? Yep, that is the very bridge.
Norman Peak, are you even awake?
This bridge is called Huguan Bridge, built in the Qing Dynasty with a total length of 2 meters. 3 stories, 3 eaves, wood and stone structure. Is a typical covered bridge. Its triple eave, hip and gable roof design is unique among existing covered bridges in Zhejiang province. This bridge looks really big, but actually, the area for people to pass through is only a small part. Its main space is used for worship. On the first floor, Guan Yu is enshrined in the center, with the God of Wealth on both sides. The second floor, Wenchang Pavilion, enshrines the Wenchang Emperor. The third floor, Kuising Tower, enshrines the statue of Kuising the Protector God of Imperial Examinations. After crossing the bridge, the official tour of the Shisi Temple begins. Shisi Temple was first built in the 10th year of Shaoxing during the Southern Song Dynasty. Throughout its long history, the reasons for building a temple can be varied. But the construction process of Shisi Temple is quite unique. Sudden question for everyone. What did you all like to do when you were 6 years old? When the uploader was running around everywhere playing in the mud, using a piece of broken glass as a magnifying glass, trying to start a fire, ended up spending the whole afternoon outside in the middle of winter, nothing, caught fire. Went back home and caught a cold at that age. Didn't you guys do stuff like that when you were kids?
Are you even awake?
Anyway, at 6 years old, at such an age when most people still don't understand anything, in the local Mei clan of Jining, a little kid named Mei Yuan actually volunteered to guard the tomb of his deceased grandfather. Seeing the child had such filial piety, his father naturally didn't object. Just built a small hut for him next to his grandfather's grave for temporary stay. As a result, Mei Yuan really guarded the tomb alone for 3 whole years, never leaving. In ancient times when filial piety ruled the world, this quickly became news. Reported layer by layer by local officials, eventually even reached the ears of Emperor Gaozong of Song. Gaozong then personally issued an edict praising Mei Yuan as a filial child, and the small hut he lived in while guarding the tomb. It was also given the name Shisi Court, and has been maintained and passed down through generations ever since. It is said that during the Ming Hongwu era, the famous Liu Ji, also known as Liu Bowen, once inscribed a plaque for the Shisi Dojo. By the first year of the Xuande era in the Ming Dynasty, Shisi Court was officially renamed Shisi Temple. And during the Qing Dynasty, the 3 Pure Ones Hall was added. Listen, I know what you're wondering. Why would a Buddhist temple have a 3 Pure Ones Hall? But I haven't found out exactly why either. Qing Dynasty matters can be pretty mysterious sometimes. By the 1980s and 1990s, for preservation reasons, the Qing-era Maxian Palace from the north of Dakon was relocated here, finally forming the layout of Shisi Temple as we know it today. After buying tickets at the Scenic area entrance, the first thing you see is Shisi Temple's mountain gate. Inside this ancient-style small gate, terraces a huge fallen tree. It's probably the most classic photo spot at Shisi Temple. This gate has appeared many times in Black Myth. The most classic scene is that one. Shisi Temple's mountain gate is a 3-bay timber structure raised higher in the middle, with a plaque hanging above it. Everyone take a closer look. Under this plaque, these 2 button-like things, the carvings used to secure the doorframe, are called hudui, usually appearing in pairs. The number and craftsmanship of hudui in the past could somewhat reflect the family's status. The 2 pillars in the middle of the mountain gate have drum-shaped wood carvings, both inside and outside. This is called mendang, usually made of stone more often, and can also symbolize family status, hence the saying mendang hodui. It's worth mentioning whether mendang or hudui are more common in residential buildings, which also confirms that Shisi Temple was not originally a religious building. On the mountain gate, you can also see small hanging flower pillars, and gates with hanging flower pillars are usually used in homes to separate inner and outer residences. As we often say, not stepping outside, the main gate, leave the second gate. The second gate inside refers to the Chuihua Gate. Pass through the mountain gate is a juniper lounging like GU. Viewers who saw our previous Puzhihai video should know that. As the saying goes, life lies in lying flat. These GU slouch trees are usually real old-timers. Take this juniper, for example. Its age is a full 1500 years. It is China's largest and oldest juniper. So you say, slack off when you should. That is how you live long. So next video we're skipping. Well, not really. Because the real tree king in Shisi Temple is actually another one. Hear me out, another tree. Is this towering cedar king here. Also over 1500 years old, with a full 134 meter girth, originally over 50 meters tall. After being struck by lightning and broken, still stands at 28 meters. Very rugged and spectacular. And what is especially magical? This cedar's trunk is hollow. Its inside space can fit over 30 people. You could set up a table play mahjong. Probably no big issue. So you see, leave blank when needed. That also leads to long life. So next video we're skipping. Moving forward is the main area of Shisi Temple. Divided into left and right sections. Left is the temple area. Right is the Maya family ancestral hall. We'll first take the left small gate to visit the temple area. This outer wall. This small gate feels just right. Black Myth Chapter 4's Zhu family courtyard opening is basically a one-to-one copy of this place. Hey, now that you mention it. Entering the courtyard gate on the right side is the Heart Sutra Bell Tower, built during the Qing Dynasty. In Black Myth, the courtyard where you battle the second sister with Brother Pig is based exactly on this location. A pagoda-style wooden structure with a hip and gable roof, divided into 3 levels, each tier narrowing as it rises. The base of the eaves columns extends outward, making them appear slanted at first glance, like the tower might collapse. But actually, this is a classic technique in traditional construction methods. Column splaying. Tilting the pillars slightly to enhance the overall stability of the structure. At the same time, it creates a greater sense of depth in the appearance. Originally housed a bronze bell weighing 1,000 Its chime could reportedly be heard 15 kilometers away. Moving further ahead, you'll see the main hall of Shisi Temple. In Black Myth, at Ruxian Hermitage, the building where the old spider spirit resides is this very one. Truly replicated down to the last detail. The hall spans 3 bays in width, with a depth of 2 bays.
Featuring a double
Above the main hall is a long octagonal caisson ceiling. The overall design is simple and elegant, embodying the unique charm of southern architecture. Now, talking about this main hall, Tyree is quite a story to tell. Among well-known ancient buildings in China, few are as puzzling to architectural historians as the main hall of Shisi Temple. It's quite a rare case. Just determining its construction era has cost many researchers their hair. Literally, widely circulated online suggests it was built in the 16th year of the Yuan Zheng based on an inscription on a beam underside, reading original construction in Yuan Zhejiang Bingshen, clear as day, black on white. A Yuan dynasty structure, right? Seems obvious. But soon, experts pointed out the inscription uses the phrase original construction, which doesn't necessarily mean the Yuan dynasty had already developed intellectual property law. It was originally created in the Yuan dynasty. Under what circumstances? It should be said that it was originally founded in the Yuan dynasty. It must have been written when this sentence was not. It is the Yuan dynasty, isn't it? It is like I can't tell you right now. Hello everyone, my name is Professor Norman Top. He is an upmaster. My upmaster career began in 2025. Am I not sick? I am not. And soon the study of inscription. It confirms this view. Thanks to the nature of the Shisi Temple family, ancestral temple, the author of the contrastive inscription and the genealogy of Meizis. Sure enough, they found that most of them were born in the Ming and Qing dynasties. Well, in that case, is this inscription originally from the Yuan dynasty accurate? It's worth the business. Mainly this. It is not that architects have to find this fault. It is really anyone who has seen the overall painting style of Shisi Temple. It is hard not to sigh. This child is too old. Many of the building practices in Shisi Temple are old school. It can be said to be obvious. And one of the most obvious, it is these buttresses used in the main hall. This layer of horizontal arch. Drop a board on it. Or more professional, it is a layer of mud arch. Layers of square repeat, stacked style. It's a rather old school practice. The earliest can be traced back to the Middle and Late Tang Dynasty. A ready-made example. It is one of the only 3 Tang Dynasty wooden buildings in China. King Guangren Temple. Single-layer arch connection is adopted. Sufang repeats the 2-layer approach. And since the Tang Dynasty, it is also a southern building. Then naturally, we can't help but dig our brains out to rob daytime traffic of the small days of the Japan. After learning the shape of this overlapping music, it can be said that it is quite a soft spot. So where in a lot of old Japanese buildings, you can see a similar approach, even for a while in the past. Shisi Temple is often mistaken for Japan, the building. I think the main reason lies on this row of arches. It is pretty hopeless to think about it, isn't it? Shisi Temple in the shape of our own arch. It was mistaken for Japanese architecture. Instead, the Japanese made it themselves. What golden goose kiss, Tang broken wind? But it is said to be a thick Tang style. You never know. Under the question of replacing the Tang Dynasty with Japanese, how many more cure for low blood pressure? But in all fairness, it is not surprising that this problem will occur because, compared to Japan's enthusiasm, this practice of one arch and one beam, in our country, since the beginning of the Song Dynasty, is not very popular. In the Ming and Qing architecture, this practice is rare. Therefore, there is this structure on the main hall of Shisi Temple. In a sense, it is a completely high ancient building with a large opening level. If you look at it like this, is it possible that Shisi Temple was older than the Yuan Dynasty? Is it even said that he was a building when the Southern Song Dynasty was first built? It is reverse. Architects were questioned. The main hall of Shisi Temple was built in Yuan Dynasty. He didn't think it was too late. But I think it is too early. From the historical dimension, due to the continuous upgrading of building materials, the load-bearing function of bucket arch in ancient buildings in China, in fact, it is becoming less and less critical. This leads to our ancient architecture, presents a significant trend. That is, the older the building, the specifications of the arch will be larger. The newer it is, the smaller it will be. For example, like the Buddha Light Temple in the Tang Dynasty, Zhenjiang Temple in the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, including what we just introduced last issue, Monastery in the early Northern Song Dynasty. There is one that counts as one. They are all muscular men with amazing proportions of bucket arches. In contrast, the arch of Shisi Temple Hall, although it looks like there are so many layers, you count the number of shops, probably more than Fo-Guang Temple. But actually, however, it seems that I bought 20 xiali and hung them together. You buy more. It is also the same as xiali. Material size of dual arch in Shisi Temple, actually very, very small. From the general situation, it is difficult to be considered before the Ming Dynasty. Size of building materials. There are even many scholars who believe this size, in fact, it is closer to the official size of the Qing Dynasty. So now, if you ask the age of Shisi Temple Hall on the internet, that is likely to get from the Southern Song to different answers. From Ming to Qing. Evaluation is the last big question in Chinese examination reading level of ancient buildings. The main thing is to make sense in one hand. Say it, the shape of the arch in the main hall of Shisi Temple. It is also a variety of colors can be. It uses a double lower structure. What? There may be audiences who don't understand what a double is, right? It has 2 thorns on its arch. And in the vast majority of ancient buildings, these 2 thorns are arranged next to each other. But the arch of Shisi Temple is between the 2 lower arches, also separated by a layer of Hua arch. This practice of one arch, one arch, one arch, one arch, only in individual murals and stone towers, especially on the stone pagoda in Fujian, there have been similar examples. For example, we have introduced Pushan Guanghua Temple, Sakyamuni Pagoda. I didn't think in this place. There is still a callback, right? As for Shisi Temple, why keep so much? Or old, or rare style? It is another one around it. A more reasonable explanation is, southern Zhejiang in history, long on the fringes of the surrounding large counties, its development speed is relatively slow. This has also led many architectural styles that have been updated or replaced in other regions, being preserved here instead. As the saying goes, when rituals are lost, seek them in the wilderness. This is exactly what it means. Speaking of this, it's hard not to bring up the fact that some people love to hype how Japan has preserved the true orthodox Tang Dynasty style of China. Yada. That so-called cultural refrigerator theory. I think regardless of how much Chinese has undergone localization and adaptation in Japan, even if we were to really entertain this cultural refrigerator title, I'd say, frankly, it probably doesn't apply to Japanese architecture at all. To the left of the main hall of Xichen Temple lies Maxian Palace. Maxian refers to Lady Maxian, a famous folk belief in the Zhejiang and Fujian regions. In Wak myth, this building also makes an appearance in the lower levels of the spider cave. And when you look at Maxian Palace, its most striking feature, in a certain sense, does align somewhat with the characteristics of the spider cave. It has a lot of legs. This is a typical Chuando style structure. Unlike in beam-lifting structures, where horizontal beams bear the weight, in Chuando architecture, the load bearing is mostly done by vertical pillars. The horizontal wooden pieces only serve to stabilize the structure. Thus, the defining characteristic of Chuando architecture is that it has a lot of pillars. This can make the interior feel crowded and cramped. But for the current Maxian Palace, this issue has been sort of cleverly eliminated, so to speak. As everyone knows, the loss of an arm gave birth to Venus. And similarly, the loss of walls has made Maxian Palace what it is today. Currently, the outer walls of Maxian Palace have been damaged over time. But as a result, it feels much more open and airy now. Vaguely. There's even a unique kind of maximalist beauty to it. Taking photos here, oh man, the atmosphere is just unbeatable. This wave, it's a blessing in disguise. Behind the main hall, there's also the Three Pure Ones Hall from the Qing Dynasty. As for what can be said about it, there's not much to add. In the world of semi-black myth, the house where you encounter Taoist Mi is this one. To the east of Xixi Temple lies the Mei Clan Ancestral Hall. From front to back, there are the Yinke Hall, Shulen Hall, and Baoben Hall arranged in order. All of these were replicated, one-to-one into white. They respectively became the backdrop for the battle against Black Hand Taoist. The entrance to Spider Spirit is home and its side rooms. As the ancestral hall of the Mei family, this building is filled with records of the clan's achievements over hundreds of years. From the Northern Song Dynasty to the Ming and Qing dynasties, family produced 19 Jinshi, high-ranking scholars, and more than 20 Juren, provincial examples. The strength of their scholarly tradition is evident. The entire structure gradually rises along the central axis, symbolizing the family's ever-growing prosperity. And the construction process of this ancestral hall, it's quite a story in itself. It's that in order to build it, the Mei family held a public bidding process. Over 40 craftsmen came forward to compete. So, the head of the Mei clan asked each of them to craft a wooden horse. This was an extremely simple task, so most carpenters did it carelessly. However, as it turned out, from ancient times to the present, there has never been a shortage of masters who could outwork their peers. One master from Shandong province carefully selected premium hardwood and meticulously crafted a perfectly fitted wooden horse. After all the wooden horses were completed, the leader of the Mei clan ordered them to be submerged in a stream. 3 days later, when they were retrieved, most had fallen apart. Only the wooden horse, made by the Shandong master, had not absorbed even a drop of water. And just like that, he won the project to build the Mei clan ancestral hall. But the follow-up actions of this Shandong master, well, let's just say they were otherworldly. Truly extraordinary. The first thing he did when starting work was to perform a ritual on stage, paying respects to all spirits of the void. I build a temple here. After completion, birds are not allowed to stay here. Spiders are not allowed to web here. Dust is not allowed to fall to the ground here. And after completion, everyone was surprised to find all 3 of these spells have been fulfilled. It is passed down as a myth, which is the Shandong master. This is Shandong Daxian. But now, from a scientific point of view, these 3 can be achieved. In fact, it is simply because the master's craftsmanship is really good enough. Building with excellent ventilation, not easy to fall ash. During the selection and processing of wood, also pay attention. Added odors that birds and insects don't like. Master, this is purely physical casting. Can only say that the superior, that is indeed a master. Not only excellent technology, in the area of human creation and metaphysics empowerment, also a good hand. This is to be born in troubled times. It is estimated that the height is an opening angle. But it is an interesting point. It is a coincidence in the oath. There is a saying that spiders are not allowed to make webs. I didn't know the Black Myth production team. Know in advance, there is this story. It can only be said that the Mei Ancestral Hall was used in the Pansi cave. There is also a strange sense of humor. It seems that the best technology, that is also can carry real goblins. In addition to this, there is another big thing in the big country. It is Snowflake Falls. This word means waterfall in dialect. These names in the cloud come from this. According to the record of snowflakes in Zhejiang County Annals, the waterfall is more than 60 zhangs high. Majestic momentum, unique scenery. It is one of the most beautiful and famous waterfalls in the area. It takes a mountain road to get back and forth. Low degree of development. Natural and comfortable scenery. This is definitely a spot worth okay. So that is all for this video. Hope it helps with your trip.
This episode again turned out to be one with an overwhelming amount of research.
But I have to say, Shisi Temple is truly worth all the effort I put in. Only in such isolated and primitive, simple architecture do I truly feel the long history Ningjie had in ancient ruins. Being here, it is like I can directly face the river of time flowing over the eaves. And in my view, this is something really hard to find under today's commercial wave. The most 原始 charm of ancient buildings